Picture this. It's late. You're scrolling on your phone and boom, there it is. Another unbelievable, out-of-nowhere success story. We like to call this the overnight wealth illusion. In today's explainer, we're going to break down the source material to reveal exactly how this illusion actually works behind the scenes and how it completely rewires the way our brains process financial risk and reward.
You've definitely seen the headlines, right? This guy turned $100 into $1 million. Or, the classic image of the lottery winner holding up that giant, oversized check. Seeing that gives us this instant, visceral dopamine hit. It totally feeds into that fantasy of hitting a viral business idea, stumbling onto a crypto coin right before it explodes, or catching a stock going straight to the moon. And for a split second, something just kind of clicks in your brain. You look at that headline and you can't help but ask, well, what if that could be me? Let's be honest, nobody really wants to wait 10 years to get rich. We all want that one lucky break. And honestly, that's a completely normal, deeply ingrained human desire. We literally crave that fast, life-changing anomaly over the slow, boring grind of everyday reality. But here's the catch. By indulging in that fantasy, you're stepping right into a massive psychological trap. It's called the lottery mindset. Basically, it's the belief that wealth mostly comes from big wins, super rare opportunities, and absolutely perfect timing, rather than just doing the boring, consistent actions day in and day out. This mental model is wild because it quietly paralyzes millions of people, keeping them financially stuck while they just sit around waiting for some dramatic event to save them. So what happens is, this mindset slowly rewires how you make decisions. Instead of asking yourself the fundamental, practical question, how do I build wealth, your brain totally defaults to, how do I get lucky? And that one little shift, it's a real game changer, but in the worst way. It leads you right down the path of chasing shortcuts and hopping from trend to trend, all while your actual net worth barely budges an inch.
So let's move into section 1, the tale of two paths, person A versus person B.
Imagine two people making the exact same amount of money. Person A is our impulsive lottery thinker. Because they believe they just need that one big break, they're always chasing the risky bets and totally ignoring their savings. Now, person B, on the other hand, is the builder thinker. They know for a fact that wealth is built, not won. So they save, they invest, and they just focus on steady, unglamorous progress. But fast forward a bit, and person B's small actions really start to compound. Think of it like drops of water slowly filling up a bucket. The progress is super slow, it's quiet, but it is incredibly consistent. Meanwhile, person A is still standing there waiting for a miracle to happen. As the years roll by, this massive wealth gap opens up between them. And the crazy thing? It has absolutely nothing to do with intelligence. It is entirely about avoiding that lottery mindset. All right, section 2, the psychology of luck, possibility versus probability. Look, we are biologically hardwired to crave massive rewards. That's exactly why the media blasts lottery winners on the front page, not the guy who just faithfully funded his retirement account. Just consider the math here. Option 1, a 1% chance to make $1 million. That feels thrilling, right? It's pure possibility. But then look at option 2, a 100% guaranteed chance to make $1,000 repeatedly over time. Mathematically, it's vastly superior. But the lottery mindset gets us emotionally addicted to possibility, completely blinding us to the actual power of guaranteed probability. And honestly, the deepest psychological truth we found in the source material is that the lottery mindset isn't even really about the money. It's actually about control. Believing in sudden, overnight success is a subconscious defense mechanism. It gives you a free pass to avoid the really uncomfortable realities of, being disciplined, delaying your gratification, and just accepting that real results take time. Your brain is literally creating a shortcut just to protect your ego.
Now, the real danger of this defense mechanism is how it completely warps your ability to evaluate risk. Instead of looking at an investment and asking, okay, is this sustainable? You catch yourself asking, man, how big can this get? You start chasing the hype, you ignore some pretty massive red flags, and you totally underestimate the timeline. And the ultimate cost here isn't just the money you lose, it's the lost time. And time is the one asset you can never, ever get back.
Which brings us to section 3, time and the tree, the invisible growth. Building wealth is remarkably similar to planting a tree. Think about it. For the first 6 months after you plant a seed, absolutely nothing seems to be happening above ground. It looks like zero progress. But beneath the surface, the roots are working hard, establishing this massive, invisible growth. By year 5, boom, you've got a strong, stable tree. But a lottery thinker, they get impatient. They dig up the seed every 3 days just to see if it's doing anything, effectively starting over every single time. They fail simply because they never actually give the roots a chance to take hold.
Okay, let's get into section 4, building your financial system, the blueprint.
The source material lays out a fantastic, systematic roadmap to help us escape this trap once and for all. First off, you've got to recognize the mindset the second it flares up. Notice when you're getting swept up in the hype. Then, shift your focus entirely away from those big end goals and instead lock in on your daily systems, things like automating your investments. You really have to make peace with the reality that progress is going to be slow. And finally, actively start stripping those luck-based decisions right out of your financial diet. Look, I really want to emphasize this. Slow progress is not failure. In fact, it is quite literally the only path that actually works. If your financial system feels super boring, incredibly small, and honestly completely unimpressive to your friends, then congratulations, you are doing it exactly right. Most people quit simply because they just cannot handle the boredom. Embracing that boredom, as crazy as it sounds, is exactly how you win the game. To help you stay on track, you really need a daily filtering question. Before you allocate a single dollar of capital, pause and ask yourself, if luck wasn't involved at all, would this decision still make sense? If the answer is no, you are absolutely slipping back into that lottery mindset. Make this question your ultimate financial shield. It is a total game changer. Accepting that there's no magical overnight moment waiting for you might sound a little depressing at first, but it is actually the ultimate freedom. It means your future doesn't rely on getting lucky or waiting for the whim of the universe. It relies entirely on thousands of small, repetitive decisions that are totally in your control. It's what you spend, what you save, what you invest, and what you choose to learn. You finally stop waiting around to get lucky, and you just start stacking those small wins until they become absolutely undeniable. I'm going to leave you with one final thought to take away from this explainer. The next time you find yourself tempted by some massive overnight opportunity, I want you to just pause, take a real look in the mirror, and ask yourself this: am I trying to win or am I trying to build? Because honestly, how you answer that one single question is going to quietly dictate your entire financial future. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.